Yeah, Stranger Things fans have officially lost the plot, and I don't say that lightly, because right now, a huge part of the fandom is convinced there's a secret ending to Season 5 that's dropping tonight, January the 7th. A hidden episode, a surprise finale, one last twist that Netflix has apparently been sitting on this whole time. According to the theories, the ending that we got wasn't the real ending. It was a supposed fake out designed to distract the viewers while the true finale launches out of nowhere. No trailer, no announcement, just vibes and TikTok theories. And somehow, thousands of people genuinely believe this. So in this video, we're going to look at why fans think there's a secret episode coming out, and how the way Season 5 actually ended may be the reason people are clinging on to the idea that there is more to come.
Stranger Things fans, let's talk about the secret 9th episode that is going to be the real finale for the series. For those of you unaware, real quick, Conformity Gate is what Stranger Things fans are calling the secret 9th episode that is going to debut January 7th, because the finale that we just saw was actually all an illusion that Vecna created for us, the viewer. This would be the
Adding fuel to the fire was David Harbour himself. In the lead up to the finale, he was hyping it up heavily, saying that the ending landed the plane and that the final episode answered all of our questions. But let's be honest, it didn't. Instead of tying things together, the finale left massive storylines either unresolved or brushed past entirely, which only made the fans feel like something was missing.
They land the plane, and it is the best episode. It's the best episode ever done. And I'll tell you one thing. At the last 20 minutes, like all you people who cried at when Hopper died in season 3 or whatever, and then I tricked you, showed up bald. The end of this episode, when we were reading it, just us reading it, about halfway through, like people started crying, and then about the last 20 minutes, it was just uncontrollably crying waves of different people. Noah Schnapp being my favorite. I'm just like literally, get out!
Then there's the Will and Mike situation. A section of the fandom was so desperate for those two to end up together that when Mike said, friends, no, best friends, people completely lost it, claiming it was queer bait. Social media exploded with accusations of queer baiting from a certain demographic and bad writing, as if the show had betrayed them personally. But here's the reality. They are literally two teenage boys. A close friendship not turning romantic isn't some grand conspiracy or hidden agenda. It's just a story not going the way some fans wanted it to.
Fucking died, so like why can't they fuck? Like I don't understand.
You know, employment.
And that brings us to the real problem with how Season 5 ended. For a show that has always been praised for high stakes and emotional payoff, the finale felt surprisingly safe. One of the biggest issues is 11. If the writers were going to kill her off, this was the moment, but instead they couldn't fully commit. They tried to give her an alternative ending that completely undercut the emotional weight of the scene. Honestly, it would have been far more powerful if Hopper had been forced to kill 11 whilst he was under Vecna's trance. It would have been more brutal, memorable, and actually meaningful. However, the show backed out of it when it was revealed Elle was completely fine, and it was all in Hopper's mind. Then there's the final battle with the Mind Flayer. We're told that this is the biggest threat the group has ever faced, and the whole show is led up to it. Yet, somehow, not a single major character dies. No real consequences, no lasting loss. Like, there's no way that you see this and not one of you is dying. What are we doing here? Steve Harrington should not have lived either. There is no believable way Jonathan could have held Steve's weight without falling himself. This scene was clearly framed to be a catastrophic death, but once again, the writers refused to follow through. And the plot holes don't help. For example, water doesn't really exist in the Upside Down, which is proved by when Barb dies. There is no water in the swimming pool, or when Steve falls through the lake, there is no water. We've never seen it in previous seasons, so why would it make sense to have it now? Mrs. Wheeler also somehow survives a Demogorgon attack, and later survives the hospital massacre when she saves Lucas, Robin and Max, and then can later walk, which is weird since when she was speaking to Mike and Nancy, she could barely move her neck, but you know, she can move to save Max, Robin and Vicky. At a certain point, the tension just disappears. And finally, Hopper, after committing multiple crimes and killing a large number of US military personnel, he just gets his job back. No consequences, no investigation, nothing. Now, there are people claiming that there is an episode coming out tonight, January the 7th, and while I don't personally think it's going to happen, there is some evidence that fans are using to support the theory, even if most of it is a stretch. First, there is supposed to be Morse code written behind Robin in one scene. Fans translated it to, "You did not stop me," which they believe is a message from Vecna suggesting the story isn't over. Then there's the electrical crank. The colour appears to be different, and fans have linked this to when Holly was inside Vecna's mind. The theory is that if something is the wrong colour in Stranger Things, it usually has significance. Another detail is the clock in Mr. Clark's room. The hour hand and minute hand line up on 1 and 7, which people believe is a deliberate reference to January the 7th. There is also Jamie Campbell-Bower, who plays Vecna. During an appearance on the Jimmy Fallon show, he ended the segment by saying one word: tomorrow. Naturally, fans look at this as a tease. And finally, TikTok. If you type secret ending into the comment section, it shows an image of the kids from season 1, which some people think is Netflix hinting that the story is finally coming full circle. On their own, none of these prove anything, but together, it's easy to see why people are convinced something is about to drop. At the end of the day, this whole situation says less about secret endings and more about the writing, because when an ending is so badly received that people genuinely believe that it can't be real, that's an issue. If this was truly the intended finale, then it's fair to question how well the final season was handled. But if the Duffer Brothers somehow release another episode, one that fixes the plot holes, raises the stakes, and actually delivers a satisfying conclusion, then that changes everything. In that scenario, they don't go down as the writers who fumbled the ending of one of Netflix's biggest shows. They go down as some of the boldest writers of all time. That might be controversial, but until that happens, this feels less like genius planning and more like the fans refusing to accept an ending they didn't like. Anyways, what do you think of this? I don't know. I don't think there's going to be anything tonight.